Today I'm making mozzarella. I need mozzarella for Mac's birthday party on Sunday, so I want to make it today to make sure it's going to work out. I haven't used this mozzarella recipe in like years, probably 5 years. I used another one a few months ago with friend's milk. I was making it, she brought milk over from her cow, and the recipe didn't work out. It was a different recipe, and I don't know why I went away from my normal recipe, but it's made me a little nervous. So I have a limited amount of rennet. I think I have enough for about 4 big batches of cheese. So I'm making a 2-gallon batch of mozzarella, and we're gonna see how this goes, and I figured I would take you along the way. So, will she succeed or will she fail? I do not know. So I've started with my milk. These are half-gallon jars, but some of them are partial jars. Using up partial jars is nice to free up fridge space. So those jars, I've got it in this pot here. I'm going to start by gently warming this up, and then I'm using the citric acid method. And it's like considered a 30-minute mozzarella. I think it takes more like an hour, but we're going to get going on this, get it warming up. Although this baby also needs to nap pretty quick, so we'll see how this goes. I've also got a batch of feta started, but we're not going to talk about that right now because feta I do not have figured out at all. So we got the milk heating up on about medium, and the milk is already about 45 degrees Fahrenheit, so it doesn't have to warm up too far to get to 55. So I'm going to get my citric acid, and we're going to dilute a tablespoon of citric acid in a 1/4 cup of cool water. I'm making this with the baby attached like this, so this is going to be a little awkward, but we're just going to roll with it. So we pour in citric acid. Oh, one-handed cheese making. So with cheese making, you don't stir around in a circle. You stir up and down to make sure the culture goes up and down the whole thing. I mean, you can still go around in a circle, but make sure you go up and down as well. So now we're going to heat this up to 88, and at 88 is when we add our rennet. So let's get our rennet ready too. So rennet lives in the fridge, and this is the little thing of rennet I have, but our health food store can't get this anymore. If it's slightly expired, it doesn't matter, it still works. So I've ordered a big thing of it from Glengarry Dairy, cheese making supplies, and so I've got about a tablespoon left, and I only need half a teaspoon for this recipe, so I should be good. And soon my other rennet will come, and in the meantime I may need to feed a bunch of skim milk to the pigs, otherwise we're going to be drowning in milk. So a few words as well as an explanation on rennet. So cheese making is not a vegetarian process. Even though vegetarians consume dairy, vegans don't consume dairy. Vegetarians do, but rennet, you can get vegetable microbial rennet. It's unreliable. Or the good rennet that you buy is called calf rennet. So the best way to explain rennet is, you know, when a baby has nursed and then they spit up. And when they spit up, it doesn't look like milk, it's like chunks of white and liquid. It's curds and whey. The natural rennet in a baby's stomach has reacted with your milk, and it's making cheese. So rennet that you buy for cheese making is made from the stomach of a calf who has only had milk, and it reacts with the milk that you're making, and it's what separates that into curds and whey, firms up those curds so that you can make cheese. I think it's really neat. I know people that have actually done it, like butchering a young calf. I just buy the rennet. I'm not quite that hardcore yet. Yes, baby. You can get liquid rennet or tablet rennet. I can only find liquid animal rennet, but a friend of ours swears by a tablet animal rennet because it doesn't have an expiration date. So use what you can find. I get supplies from Glengarry Cheese Making. So now we're going to pretend that we didn't fall into a hole of watching a guy eat spicy gummy bears and forget about this. And it got a little warm. Not too warm for what its finished temperature needs to be, but I was supposed to add the rennet when it was at 88, but I think it'll work fine. So now that it's at 100, which is where it's supposed to be, I'm gonna take this off the heat, cover with the lid, and let it sit. So it's been sitting for probably about 10 or 15 minutes now because I had to put a baby down for a nap. But now we test, and how you test to see if they're ready is you poke your finger in and you lift it up. They're still a bit soft. You might leave it a bit longer. So you want it to split over your finger. And it's not really, needs a few more minutes. You want it to have a clean break over top of your finger. So it looks better now. It's got that clean break to it. But I've got some breakfast ready, so I'm actually gonna eat my breakfast first quick, and then I'm gonna deal with this. So I've ordered a cheese ladle thing that will make this easier. But for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to give them, I don't know where Mac is either, Freya. And we're just going to strain, like just scoop these out. Strain some of the way, don't worry about straining all the way. I'm gonna spill majorly when I do this. And we're just gonna scoop all the curds out into a bowl. Some of the whey in there is fine. It helps keep the curds warm, because if they get cold, they're harder to stretch. I mean, we're gonna be warming enough anyways, but some whey is fine. So now I'm just stirring this around a bit. Some of the curds are firmer and some of them are softer, and stirring them will make the softer ones release more of their whey and make them firmer. Then I'm going to heat up my pot of whey. I'm going to use the whey to stretch this. I changed my mind and I poured it into a colander to strain. I still have the whey heating up, but I'm going to let this strain while the whey heats up. And we have a baby awake again. Are you hungry? You're eating your hands like you're hungry. So because I'm a rebel who likes to do things for the first time when I'm doing it for other people, I'm going to try a different method of straining that a book I really love shows, and that's that you strain the curds. Here's the curds. And they boil water, but I'm using the whey, so I'm kind of like mixing together methods that I normally use. My normal method is that I take balls of the curds and put it in the whey, and as it heats up, I stretch it, wear gloves because the whey is hot. This way, this method, you cut the curds into strips and you put them in a bowl and then you pour the hot water over top. So we're gonna try this and see how it goes, because I feel like this could maybe be quicker. I don't know, we'll see. So after stretching, I put these balls in a thing of ice water so they would stay as balls. And I was impressed with how they stretched, and I liked that stretching method. I don't know if it was any simpler than my other one, but that's okay. But the last step that you gotta do whenever you make cheese is weigh it to see how much cheese we got. How much do you think, Mac?
25, 8, 9 pounds?
Oh goodness, no.
20? Somewhere in the 20s?
We got just about 2 pounds, which for 2 gallons of milk is very standard. It wasn't super high cream milk because the cow likes to hold back her cream for her calf sometimes, but I'm still very happy with that yield. And now we need to make much more for the party.